welcome to this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy.
And we're back, bitches.
Woo!
I just like saying that. So this week's episode is brought to you by the royal return of the Popcorn Wind Down. We're our own sponsors this week. You know, we're treating the people to our very, very special return.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I've actually missed it. I did.
Oh.
I missed. I did. You know, the break was welcome. It's a lot, especially with the day job being what it is, and you know, I welcomed it. I had a lot to do. Got the website done, and so now I'm ready to get back into it, the flow of things. I even took a break from TV and movies for a bit. You know, just to
I
kind
did
of.
not. I did not.
I did. So, you know, I figured we could be our own best sponsor this week and, you know, return with the actual paid sponsorships next week. But our the queens are back, you know, so I'm good. And I'm excited about this week's show. So without further ado, let's get to it. This week we are talking about Bel-Air, the dramatic reinterpretation of the 90s sitcom the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which starred Will Smith. In this remake, Jabari Banks stars as Will, the talented teen who, after getting into some trouble back home in West Philly, is literally shipped overnight to live with his aunt and uncle and cousins, Hillary, Carlton, Ashland, in Ashley, in Bel-Air, California. So, Tammy, what did you think of Bel-Air? Was it royally fresh or as foul as the Cambridge Jamaican tour?
My God, Eddie. I loved it. I loved it. Like, I'll save my final rating, but you know it's gonna be something good. But I really, really enjoyed it. Like, I was a huge fan of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which was a comedy, and I became a fan of this. Like, I can't wait for season 2. Like, it was good. Like, it was good. It was good. It definitely kept me interested for the 10 episodes. What about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought. I was a little skeptical, you know, when you hear that it's going to be a drama and you know that they got the idea from I think it was a TikTok um or something that did a dramatic reinterpretation, but it was in the TikTok that did the dramatic interpretation. I saw it. It was good. But you just didn't know how it would quite play out. But I think it was the smartest choice all the way around because the show was such a classic. This actually, besides, you know, keeping the names of a lot of the characters the same and the premise the same, it gave them a chance to really make this one their own. And I think that they did that. So I was really, really impressed and I loved it. And it was allowed to develop its own tone and flavor and still kind of pay a subtle homage to the original show. So I think ultimately the dramatic reinterpretation was the way to go. You still had bits of comedy, you know, bit things that you just kind of found funny, but you know, there weren't, to me, I found myself comparing it less and less to the original show, which I truly appreciated. And I guess because it was such a classic and a star turned vehicle for Will Smith, introducing him into the acting world, I ultimately think it worked. So there wouldn't be that many comparisons, and you were able to, it was able to stand on its own. I love the casting. What did you think about the casting? I thought it was excellent.
I hate Carlton. I know we're talking about the casting, but I just got to start this off real quick. I hate Carlton Banks. I love the Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in the 90s. I hate this Carlton. And I cannot figure if it is just the character or if it's also the acting that goes along with the character. Like, I watched it twice and I cannot decide if it's just the casting, if it's the casting, the acting going along with the character, or if it's just the character. But besides that character, I thought they did a great job on the casting. Besides that character, like I just absolutely hated that character.
Okay. I I didn't watch it in real time like everyone else, because I to me, if it's on a streamer, I want to just be able to watch it all the way through. So when they release shows weekly like that, I usually wait till the last episode and just go back and watch it all at once. And I'm glad I did. And I still waited a little while to watch it, even though I was kind of aware what was going on because Black Twitter, you are not alone. Black Twitter destroyed Carlton. They hated Carlton. And so I was kind of prepared as to what to expect about the character. I didn't hate him as much as I thought I would. I didn't hate him as much as everyone else did. I understood why the internet came for his ass. I understood why Black Twitter came for his ass. Um, but in a lot of ways, he was very similar. He had a lot of the same character flaws as the OG Carlton. I think what made him so much more unlikable is that these flaws weren't masked by the comedy. And also, a friend of mine, we were talking about it, and she said, and the OG Carlton was more attractive, so we always forgive attractive people, more attractive people, their flaws than we do the not so attractive people. And so I was like, okay, I could kind of see that. But to me, a lot of he had a lot of the same flaws as the original Carlton. They just weren't masked by the comedy that they used to cover up a lot of OG Carlton's character flaws. Um, because like the whole locker room scene where his white friend, was rapping the N word, that to me equated to, and him being so nonchalant about it, or his willful ignorance. I wouldn't even say naivety. I would say his willful ignorance toward allowing his friend to use the word kind of ranked up there with me to that episode on the OG Fresh Prince where they got pulled over for driving too slow, and then some of Carlton's other, um, how do I say it, ignorances or naivety when it comes to race. So that was my take on Carlton.
I say the difference for drama Carlton compared to comedy Carlton is that I felt that in the comedy, Carlton was naive on the world outside. This Carlton, I did not see him being naive. I saw him, like you said, with his ignorance, which is a difference. There's a difference between being naive and being ignorant, um, or just not giving a fuck about certain things that would honestly affect you more than it would affect your white friends. And I think that was the difference on the reason why I just could not get behind them, even when you heard them talking about his anxiety and all of that, and whatever story they tried to spin to get you on his side, I did not fall for the bullshit. Like through the whole entire thing, I was like, fuck you. The whole thing. Like I never once felt a need to feel sorry for him, to be like, oh, well, you got to understand where he's coming from. I thought that they played into him a lot because he had issues before. I thought he did not get the consequences that he should have got for some of the shit that he did to Will when Will first showed up. Like you pushed him into a pool and didn't even know if he could swim. Like, absolutely not. And then want to bitch and moan because he beat the shit out of you after you did it. You pushed a dude from Philly in the pool.
Yeah,
And you from Bel-Air. Like, you like what the what? And then you wanted to bitch and moan about it? Like, and then when you found out that your so-called best friend planted drugs on your cousin, like, and that didn't click in your head that that is not a friend that you want?
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I could not get behind him. Not even when they started to bond, I still could not get behind Carlton. Like Carlton was that character, I'm okay if he don't come back next season. Like, I am okay with that.
Um, yeah, he, like I said, I understood where he was coming from. I didn't say I liked him. I didn't hate him as much as I thought I would, but I understood a lot of his motivations. The jealousy, um, the and I think Lisa, there's a line where, paraphrasing just what she said, everyone deals with it differently in growing up in that environment and not having a lot of people that look like you. And I think in trying to find his place, he stuffed down and ignored a lot of the shit that he shouldn't have ignored. And by doing so, he co-signed on it and allowed his friend to think that it was okay. And so, like I said, I'm not making excuses. He shouldn't have done it, but I had better understanding. I extended. I think I extended a little bit more grace to the character than you did to a lot of people did. But I agree with you. He did not get the consequences he should have gotten. Even during his quote unquote redemption arc, because it kind of just you didn't really you didn't really see it. It's like once you started seeing his struggles with anxiety more, um, then that was supposed to excuse everything. And I think that was probably some place where they dropped the ball and where they could have done more, especially with how much of an asshole he was at the beginning. He needed a bigger redemption arc. Him putting money in Will's pocket at the end was not a redemption arc. Him going out and actually trying to help find Will, or being broken up about Will going, or helping him learn the truth about his father, that wasn't a redemption arc. I think we actually needed to see the moment, besides the party, because at the party there's a lot of fucked up shit that happens. You find out that he's sleeping with your ex-girlfriend at this point. So, and then after that, y'all just talk about, oh, is it cool or not? And it was supposed to be. So I think that if he had had a proper redemption arc, then I think it would have done a lot more to make his character more palatable, if that makes sense. So I think that was probably maybe one of the places where they dropped the ball for me, especially with him. So it's going to take a lot, because a lot of people hate Carlton. Like, a lot of
I
people hate
I really
Carlton.
wonder if the writers didn't think that he'd be as hated as he was. Like, okay, here's the thing. I get the whole being one of the only black people in your group of friends, or being one of the only black people in your school. I definitely get that. But like, he completely turned away from his black side. Like, he was like, yo, because I run this school. He really didn't run the school. Tyler did. Like, Tyler ran the school. You just happen to be Tyler's best friend. I'm just like, it was like, well, this is my hood. And then when he, like, it's just so much stuff. When he embarrassed Will on stage when he was giving his speech, because he was class president or something like that. And he was giving his speech and he was like, how about we donate to, you know, underdeveloped neighborhood school, rather than sending our money overseas. I was just like, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Like, you're a fucking asshole. What did Lisa see in you? And then when she said, oh, because he could be charming, he remembers everybody's birthday. So basically, Lisa, you ignored the fact that he was an asshole because he was nice to you.
Yeah, and she said they were there for each other. They grew up together, and then they were just there for each other at different times. Like, excuse me, she was there for him through his anxiety. He was there for her after her mom died. So, like I said, I don't think, just based on the writers and the actor, I agree with you. I don't think they thought that he would be as hated as he was. So, next year they really, really
You
need
got
to
to put
do
in the
some.
work.
You got to put in the work. Like, you can't just you've got to. There has to be some sort of redemption arc to him, because, yeah, I mean, and Carlton is an integral part of the show. But I loved Aunt Viv, I loved her character, and her wardrobe was fly as fuck. Like
It was.
I
She could dress.
loved. She could dress her ass off, and I'm not a fan of big earrings, but she made them work. Like I was like, oh wow.
That was her
But yeah,
Philly side. That
that
was
was
to
the
show
that
that
was
she
the
never let
Philly
go of her Philly side, you
side.
know?
Yeah, but she pulled it off. Like the stylist for this show was amazing, but Aunt Viv was to the nines. Um, I liked Ashley's story. I like the whole discovery. I hope that they don't drop the ball on that. I think that is a story that definitely needs to be told in the Black community, and in the Black youth.
Especially
However,
with her parent. I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
however it turns out, and I love the fact that the person that she went to told her that, hey, just because you identify one way at this stage in your life doesn't mean that it's not something that has to just be permanent. For some and for most, for a lot, it is. But allow yourself to grow and change as you grow. And I love that. So I really do hope that's a story that they continue to tell. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, also I like the fact that as Viv started to realize what was going on with Ashley, and she's having a conversation, the hesitancy is very real. On You may not fully be on board with it, but you love your kid, right?
Hmm, hmm.
So I like the fact that it wasn't like a, oh, gung ho, like, yeah, I'm all for it, like, you come to me. No, the hesitancy really like resonated, because I think that is more of a legitimate response than just automatically being on board,
Yeah.
especially within our community.
And then letting her come to her on her own. I sense some of the hesitancy there too, but I think maybe she was trying to be hesitant because she wasn't for sure. So she was just kind of leaving the
Yeah.
door open, saying, "Hey, I don't want to put this on you if this is not where you are, but I also want you to know that if this is where you are, you can come talk to me." So I liked the converse. I liked that the door was left open, that they both knew what they were trying to say. But and I'm with you. I love the awkwardness of the conversation because that is very real. And so I was just like, okay, but I got it. Um, I was okay with Hillary. I like that they didn't make her such an airhead this time, but they held true to the fact that she was a fashionista and she was flighty. So I think in this new age, having her as an influencer, I think that works for her.
I agree. Can I know it does work, and I get it that the original Hillary was like basically like an airhead, but is it wrong that, like, I kind of wanted her to be like about her business more, like college? I don't know. And it's just me. It's just on me. But like the fact of like she's trying to discover herself. Great. Fantastic. No college though? Like, we not going for that degree? I was like,
Yeah,
okay. We
and
didn't think ahead. We not thinking further ahead. But now I was like, you know what? She in her early 20s. She don't know no better. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. That's just my old mind thinking. My bad, my bad.
and she's had, and and someone said it. These kids, like she's had a pampered, sheltered life. She's never
Yes.
really had to work or struggle for anything. So I'm thinking that because you see that she is about her business, and you see that she knows what she's doing. She just doesn't quite know how she wants to do it. So I'm thinking maybe once she gets into it a little bit more, she will maybe go back to maybe USC or UCLA and get that business degree or something, because they're damn good schools. They're not Berkeley, but they are damn good schools. So I'm like, okay, but I agree with you. But
I
it's
like the
like,
the flow of her. Like, I like that she was trying to figure out who she was, but she was also staying true to herself. Like, when she knew something wasn't her, she automatically was like, "This is not for me. I'm out." And
yeah.
I do like that she stuck to who she was, and she was trying to figure out who ultimately she wanted to be, like what type of influencer she wanted to be. Like, I love that part. I do hope that sometime in the near future she realizes that you may want to take that academic step in order to help you with your business, kind of thing.
Yeah, because it doesn't, especially when, you have the privilege. I understand college is super expensive now, and so more so than ever, it may not be for everyone just because you don't want to go to school for 4 years and be damn near a year's salary in debt by the time you get out, and have it affecting your credit and everything else. I get that. I understand that. Um, but when you have the privilege and the access, um, I I hate that it was either or, that they made it seem like it had to be one or the other. Um, so I'm with you. I thought that was a bit disappointing, but um, what did you think about Uncle Phil?
Hit or miss. Sometimes I liked them. Um, I thought it was realistic for who he was. What his job was, what his career was, how he made his money. Um, but at the same time, like he was so I didn't like how he treated Jeffrey. Um, yeah, it's hit or miss. Like I loved Aunt Viv, like loved her, like she was on her Michelle Obama right there, like full on. But Uncle Phil was not on his old Barack Obama. I'm gonna just put that out there.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are times the actor was a smooth, and I love the beard. The actor was very handsome. I loved him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Uncle Phil was sexy. Uncle Phil could get it, but
Oh Lord Jesus, Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil. But I agree with you. His character, it was like he had his moments. I love that he was very flawed in this iteration, because in the
Yeah.
comedy one he was more perfect, but in this one, and I think that's something that I liked about all the characters, is you got to see their flaws. Um, so I agree with you. I'm saving my two for last.
Two.
Will's mom. Yeah, I have two. Like,
Oh, okay.
Will's mom, she got on my last nerve. Like, she turned everything, even her son's love, her insecurities, turned everything into a competition with her sister, even her son's love. And that pissed me off. Like, I'm your mama and you need to, and I'm like, oh gosh, he knows. Like, and I was just like, damn, the bitterness, the rivalry, the whatever you and Viv have going on, it goes deep, like really, really deep. So, um, yeah,
I I think with Will's mom, I focused on the amazing relationship that he had with his mother.
yes, they did.
And I
They did have that.
Yeah, and I think like the first episode really, really showed that. Especially when she was driving him to the airport and he started to get loud, and she's like, "You better watch that tone." I said, "Oh Lord, I had some flashbacks. My bad. Let me pause." But then also the last episode when he meets his father, which blew my mind that it was Marlon Wayne.
Yes,
Blew my mind because sometimes people don't realize Marlon Wayans can act.
yes, and
People
that,
forget, like, yes, he was a comedy duo with like his brother and everything like that, and they usually do comedies, but he's actually pretty good when it comes to drama. But when Lou starts talking about his mom and blaming his mom for everything, and he snaps, and because at first I was like, is he gonna just, because that's how I am. So I'm like, I would never, like, I'm snapping too. So when he snapped, that also played into the amazing relationship that he had with his mother, and the fact that he never took her for granted. Like he knew exactly what she did for him. He knew that she was the one that raised him. Like she was his person. And so, while she got a lot of drama with her sister, I love the relationship that she had with her son. Like I thought that was one of the best parts of the whole entire show. They didn't show it that much, but when they showed it, it was amazing. It was
it
absolutely
was.
amazing.
And one scene, to go back to that, is that in and I agree with you, and I loved it. But I think one thing that just really upset me along those same lines is when he called her and he told her, that he wanted to. I don't know if this conversation. No, it wasn't. It was one where he said he was talking to her and he said, "Hey, I think it was when he told her he wanted to stay in Bel Air." And he was like, Aunt Viv, and she was like, "Well, what about me?" And I'm like, "But I was just like, he hasn't forgotten you. He will never forget you. Like, you are his person." So I think it was just those insecurities that just, I was just like, oh God. And when they ruined his birthday, I hated that for him. I'm like,
I agree with you on that.
both of you need to be taken out. You're mad. The picture, like, one has nothing to do with the other. Both gifts were kind of priceless in a sense. This picture is going to mean more to him ever than these shoes. But he's a kid who has a pair of Jordans signed by the goat. Like, what his
Okay, okay, go ahead, go ahead.
what?
No, I'm going to say I thought Viv was wrong in that. Um, you knew first of all, yes, there were signs. You knew it was going to be a big thing. But even if she necessarily didn't mean that or consciously think about that, you up you showed out in front of his mom, knowing like you would be the only person who could do that for him, who could get him sneakers from the goat. Like you the only person. Like I don't think she thought that fully through, especially knowing that your sister was coming for his birthday and that was the gift that you got him. Like, I don't think she took into consideration her sister's feelings. And money has always been an issue between them. It's always been a sore spot between them. I just think that her gift was wrong. I didn't agree with the gift that she gave him, especially not at the party where everybody can see, compared to, like, because it's gonna happen. But I didn't agree with the gift that she gave him on his birthday in front of everybody.
See, I didn't have a problem with it. And I guess my thing is, it's not like she was rubbing it in your face and saying, "Oh, see what I got you." And she, maybe because of their history, she should have thought it out more. But
Hmm.
also, it's just like, I'm not. Why should she feel ashamed that she has money and she has the access? It wasn't done. I guess I don't. I didn't see a problem with it because I knew it wasn't done with malintent or ill intent. It wasn't done purposely to show her up. Um, so it kind of goes, and I get it. I do. I understand it. I understand it. Um, you know, and the competition between them was a bit much. And when she realized that, hey, she had been the one who had taken her older sister for granted, and a lot of these things for all the years or for most of their life. I appreciate that they made an effort to work on their relationship. It didn't fix everything overnight, but they were both getting better. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing how that evolves in the second season. Um, one of Okay, my favorite character. I love Will. I think Jabari was a great casting choice as Will. He made the role his own, still showing homage to the OG Will, and the Inside Out jacket still had the swag. Um, I wasn't crazy about Lisa. She was hit or miss to me. I was like, okay, Um, I'm glad that they didn't make this story as messy as it could have been with her being Carlton's ex. I thought that was, um, so I don't know how that played out, but I'm glad that that was resolved without it being something more than what it was, because Carlton was already hated. And if they would had focused on that, he could have that would have spiraled all the way out of control.
I will say that I loved Will. I loved his reactions. I thought that in the script, like however they wrote it in the script, like he did a phenomenal job on reacting to different situations in a more realistic way, not cartoonish in any type of way. I thought that um that was a really really good thing that the show did, is that they didn't make the scenes cartoonish, right? Or they didn't make the scenes something where we'd be like, oh please, like, you're right, kind of thing. Like they were very realistic on how they acted them out. I love the fact that Will was a basketball star as well as really smart.
Yes.
So he was like literally the example of a student athlete. um, so I definitely I love that as well. Like you go into a D1 school, you will be able to survive in a D1 school because you'll be able to do the work while playing basketball. So I love the fact that that's who he was. I like. Can we talk about some side characters real quick?
Oh yeah, because I haven't mentioned my favorite character yet.
Wait, who's your favorite character? Wait, hold on. Who's your favorite character? Let's go.
My
Let's go.
favorite character was Jeffrey. Everybody needs a fucking Jeffrey. Jeffrey was a motherfucking G, man. Save the best for last. And if Jeffrey don't come back, I'm kicking Uncle Phil's ass. That like Jeffrey was my boy. Like I loved this version of Jeffrey.
He
The
was
Black
he
Double
was
O
a G.
Seven.
He was a G.
Like Jeffrey was my boy. The way he handled that gangster situation in Philly, shit. Cause you know that was all Jeffrey.
All Jeffrey. Well, that's
All
another
Jeffrey.
reason why I was so pissed off at Phil because, like, where would you be and how would you handle situations if it wasn't for Jeffrey? Because he did all your behind the scenes work. He did your dirty work.
Hmm. Jeffrey
You
was a
know,
fixer. He called
and
his official job title. What they put on the 40 on that IRS form, the W-2,
house manager. He was a house
house
manager.
manager. Jeffrey was a fucking fixer. Okay,
Yeah, he was.
everybody of means needs a Jeffrey. When I get my means, I'm gonna have me a Jeffrey. Like fuck
Well, and it
that.
goes along with how Will. Remember, I think they made like a little fly comment on how he made his money when he first started out. Like he defended criminals, people from the streets and everything like that. Is how he first made his money. So I'm sure he would need a fixer if that is who his client base was
Yeah,
when
like
he
I
first became big.
and you know me, my mom like, ooh, Jeffrey needs his own show because there's a backstory there. Like I love because at first Will was like Idris, and then it's like oh, and he called him G, and then after that gangster situation, it's like Will knew he put two and two together when he went to talk to Jeffrey about oh boy finding out where he was and all Jeffrey says, I got it. It's being handled. You talking about Rashard didn't? Yeah, it's being handled. And he's like, and there's no need to worry your aunt and your uncle about it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even sweat it. And then the next thing you know, you get a call talking about, oh, boy's dead. Yeah, that was Jeffrey. Because Jeffrey was telling the person, oh, there's no need to increase security on the family, and we paid him $10,000, but that didn't seem to be enough. And homeboy said, well, so what do we do? He said, we ain't paying him no more. I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, I was like that was some bullshit. Like you understood where they were both coming from, but Jeffrey was also like your best friend and you treated him like family. And I think that's what pissed him off
Until
until you
you
start treating him
didn't.
like an employee,
Yeah,
until you threw that employee card. And you still ended up taking his advice in the end. Like he's never steered you wrong.
exactly.
But yeah, Jeffrey was my favorite side character. Jeffrey didn't get enough time or love, so I better see me some more Jeffrey during the second season.
Um. Oh wait, no. Oh my gosh. Let me recap. I called the white dude who said the N word Tyler. That was the wrong name.
His Connor.
Connor.
Tyler was
Connor.
Will's. Tyler was
Yeah.
Will's
So
white best friend,
I was
the
gonna say
basketball
like
dude.
side characters. I love Tyler. I thought he was a good one, and I hope he comes back. I think that him and Will could have that like BFF kind of thing going on. Like he got Jazz on one side, that's his street BFF. But I could see Tyler being, his school BFF, the one that he's gonna take that academic journey with, and everything like that. One side character that I hated was Lisa's dad. Like I liked Lisa. Like I thought she played the role that she was given. She played it right because she was
Hmm.
supposed to be the kind of like the triangle, but she was still trying to like she was being her own woman at the same time. But I could not stand her dad.
I couldn't
Like,
stand her.
how I clapped when Aunt Viv told off his wife, who thought that just because he said yes, that you can get up and make a speech at a charity event that's for her mom that
His
you
ex-wife.
were the other woman for? Like, fuck out of
The
here.
girl, it wasn't even the audacity. At that point, it was the fucking caucasity. And then when she put the dates together,
And she realized and she walked away, and Will was like, wait, did she just? Yeah, she just
yeah.
did. And the
And
fact
so
that they never told Lisa, even though you were about to use Will's business in order to get you to win the debates, never once did they think to tell Lisa on the fact that you were cheating on her mom when she was on her deathbed with a
and
white woman.
and more so than that, I think probably that's why. I think part of that is also why Jeffrey didn't want him to use that information. It wasn't so much that it was okay, yeah, he was maybe a good man or whatever, but I think it's also about he did not want to destroy their daughter because she was already destroyed over the death and how fast you fucking moved on. And it makes sense now at this point how fast you moved on after her mom had died,
Yeah.
since you had already basically moved on, and so for you to try to take the moral high ground over that whole will situation was just like, I kind of hate that it came to that, but I understood why. I was glad Phil chose his family, but I was like, maybe they should have already made him district attorney, or I don't know. So I'm interested to, or Phil, so I'm interested to see what Uncle Phil does, what his direction is next season.
Yeah, because wasn't Phil in the comedy a judge already, right?
Yeah, I think
Yeah, he was already a
ultimately,
judge. So
no, he started off as a lawyer, and then he does by the end of it he goes on to become a judge.
judge.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would love to see how that goes. Okay. Before you wrap up, I have a couple of favorite scenes. You already mentioned one where Viv puts Becky out her house. The other one is when they go up to that school and they find out that they did not watch those tapes. What the fuck you mean you didn't watch the tapes?
Yo, when they cursed at the principal, I said, "Oh shit, that's black parents right there."
Yeah, she's like, we're not one of these damn students. You better watch them tapes. What the fuck you mean you didn't watch the tapes?
And she was like, "Yeah," she was like, "Cause we ain't student up in here. Don't test us."
You
I
got
gotta use that one day.
what did he say? It's gonna take a couple of weeks. I must know you 4 hours.
24. And when Phil tried to like was like, okay, but let us know. And she's like, you got 24 hours. Cause we ain't one of these students. Don't test us. I was like, go ahead, Aunt Viv. Bring that Philly out.
Like that was, and then gosh, what was another one? No, that was a good one, but that one had me rolling. And then just anyone, of course, with Jeffrey, those were good scenes. I liked when they were stepping. I was like, okay, someone must really be an alpha for them to be able to actually use the alphas, or they got permission to use the alphas. Um,
Yeah, because they didn't use the deltas.
no, but they did use the alphas, and Viv's sorority was a fictional one. So I was like,
Still the
oh,
deltas,
okay.
but just the fictional version.
And so I was like, okay. And gosh, oh, what did you think of his? I loved how they portrayed his friendship with Trey, and just the reality of it. Um, you
Oh,
know,
him and Will.
yeah, it was sad, but I was like,
No,
yeah,
I'm gonna agree with you and say it was very realistic. I thought that it, and this goes for the whole entire show. Like I said before, I loved how realistic it was on the different changes that was going on, and that people grow apart, especially when you're living in a different place and now you're living in a different income bracket. That can definitely change up your friendships, right? I do hope that they're able to really like pull it together and still have that connection, because this is your childhood friend. um but there has to be an understanding of he's living in Bel Air now, and he's gonna adapt to his surroundings. He's gonna have to adapt to his surroundings. So but I did love their friendship as well. I thought their friendship was great.
I love the new jazz.
He's all right.
Yeah. I like I liked that, because even the old Jazz, he didn't have that the silliness, but the old Jazz, he dropped some gems every now and then. But I do like that. I do like the new Jazz. Um, all in all, I loved it. I loved Michael Ealy. Anytime I get to look at Michael Ealy is a good moment.
So, Micah Ealy looks like a serial killer to me now. And it's because of, oh my God, I forgot the movie where he played the crazy dude. Oh my gosh. Was it with Sanaa Lathan?
Yeah, I think yeah,
And Morris Chestnut.
yeah.
Yes. Where he plays the crazy dude. I can no longer look at him without seeing a creepy look on his face. Like,
Shit,
I was
he
looking at
could
him and
get
I was
it.
like, yeah, he good looking, but I mean, serial killers can be good looking.
That's
Um,
okay. He could get it. He could murder this. Let me stop. Let me stop. What
that
you got me
y'all, that's
doing?
Eddie. That's not Tammy. That came from Eddie, y'all. But yeah, but I had some favorites of scenes. So I love the charity. I could replay that. I love the last scene where him and Lou are going back and forth, where it starts off real calm and he's just trying to connect with his father. And then Lou starts talking about his mom and he snaps. And I mean, he was throwing out some fighting words. And like and I was just like, at the same time, like I just want to smack him in the face because I'm like, how dare you talk to me like that? But at the same, like I understood. Um, like I definitely got it. Another one of my favorite scenes is him and Lisa. Um, when they kind of like bond in his bedroom, you know, um, it's sometimes rare to see a nice relationship, I guess, where you can see like the bond that happens and the real feeling and chemistry. And I think
The
they did a great,
friendship.
yeah, the friendship. And I think they did a great job with the development of the relationship between him and Lisa over the 10 episodes. So I really enjoyed that. And I really love that. Another one of the scenes that I enjoyed was, and it's like a little scene, like it's not that big a deal, but when Hillary figures out a way to get out of her contract from the influencer house, and how she thinks quick on her feet, kind of thing. Talking the girl into buying out her contract and buying the house, and then going from there. So it was just like the little things on the developments of the certain relationships within the show that I really loved. I really enjoyed it. Like I love the fact that this show is a drama. Like I'm so happy they didn't make it a comedy again. Like that was a great decision that they made to make this a drama.
I wholeheartedly agree. Like I said, the only way I think they dropped the ball is really with Carlton's redemption
Yes,
act, and I think maybe they just didn't realize how hated that character would be, and so
I agree with
um,
you on. I just don't feel that Phil looking the way he does, and Viv looking the way she does, and Hillary looking the way she does, and Ashley looking the way she does, that is what their son looks like. I'm sorry.
I didn't quite put it like that, but okay, we got the Tammy version. That's
I I
cool.
I I went deeper, but that's what you were basically saying. I just extended the explanation.
I was just saying we tend to be more forgiving of the more attractive in their flaws,
We
character
are.
flaws, than the not so attractive in their character flaws. And a friend pointed out to me that he was not very attractive, and I said,
Not.
okay. And I don't want to be cruel about that, but okay. He's not
I
one
mean,
that I
some
would normally go for.
beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I'm just saying.
He's a little short for my taste. All right. Before we dig ourselves into a more shallow pit here, how would you rate Bel Air?
It's his first season. I thought they did a great job on making this a drama. I'm going to rate Bel-Air. I'm going to give Bel-Air 3.75 popcorns. I cannot wait for season 2. What about you?
I went just a smidge higher than you. I'm gonna give it a full 4 popcorns, but I
Ooh.
agree. The drama, I for the most part, I love the writing. It hit me in places. That extra popcorn, that extra quarter of a popcorn goes for my boy Jeffrey and the stylist. Like I
Or
said,
Viv with her big earrings.
yes, like Jeffrey was a G for real. Jeffrey with a G was a G. I love this version of Jeffrey, and I need more Jeffrey in my life in season 2. Um, Hell, Jeffrey could get his own show and just let me know like his backstory is amazing. I would love to see how he and Phil met if he was a client or what have you. But um, overall, I think they did a great job. I agree with you. Like I said, initially I was skeptical about it being a drama, but I think this was the best overall decision. I hope to see more character development and growth towards Carlton. Maybe if people don't even come to like him, they would have a better understanding. It has to be something better and more than the anxiety. Uh, but I'm also glad that's the story they're touching on, especially in our community. We don't touch on mental health stories a lot either. So, or mental illnesses. So,
I
um,
got a question.
yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay, quick question. Quick question. But then I feel like it's not going to be quick because you got to think about it. Anyway, um, if you could make any other black comedies from the 90s a drama, which one would you choose?
Ooh,
I know. It just popped in my head and I was just like, I'm going to ask it. I'm going to put it out there.
I think, gosh, Family Matters would probably be a good one.
That
And
was my
then
head.
just
That was my head.
and then just because it seemed to deal with some of the heavier issues, probably Moesha if they went ahead and did it a full fledged drama.
Oh, Moesha, that's a good one. I was gonna say Family Matters would
Yes,
be the show that I would love it if they made it into a drama and they did the same spin as Bel Air. Like I even think that would be great. And then
especially
like make Urkel like a nerd, but like a really like you could tell that he good looking.
yeah, like have him don't do the whole or yeah. Especially today in today's society, what is it like to have a black cop as a father?
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Oh, we're already started, but that
all
was just
right, so
my
whoever
one
comes up,
question. That's gonna be our
whoever
new
comes up
segment,
with that,
y'all.
I want my story idea credit. I want my story credit,
Yes.
like for real. All right, so well that does it. We came back with our new episode, and this I loved Bel Air, so I can't wait for season 2. So that does it for this week's episode of the Popcorn Wind Down. Please be sure to listen, like, follow, and comment on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and or Spotify Podcasts. You can also keep up to date on the latest in entertainment and pop culture news, as well as other amazing kernels of pop culture goodness at the popcornwinddown.com, the new and improved popcornwinddown.com. Check it out. That's it. That's the plug. Even during hiatus, I still did not get my sound effects. Poppity pop pop pop. We're still working on it. But thank you as always, and be sure to join us next week when we discuss season 2 of Bridgerton. Cannot wait. Um, until next time, I'm Eddie.
And I'm Tammy. Bye.
Peace.